Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Let's Talk. It's such a good time in this month of November to begin to reach our men. It's been on my heart to end the year strong with our brothers, our friends, men that are doing good things, good husbands, pastoring, getting around, getting with their families. This is the time of year. So we're going to be talking, as we started last week. Many of you might have joined us. We had DJ Jenkins. He was a part of the NFL, also raising three athletes. He was with us last week. I hope you enjoyed that show. And then we're going to have Prophet Remington coming on shortly. He'll be in probably another week talking about his journey. And then also tonight, we're going to be having Maurice come and share with us what God has been doing in his life. He had the opportunity to be here with us in Pittsburgh a few years ago. And I wanted to bring him back to just talk to him about what's happening. Him and his wife are now pastoring, doing some great things. And I really wanted to have him stop by here tonight and talk to us. We have a unique outlook on life, and we enjoy many of the platforms that God gives us. And these men are also impacting the world and their countries with their music, with their giftings, the call upon their life. Had the opportunity to meet us. I believe it was in Louisiana with Dr. Hardy, where I had a chance to hear him minister, and from then just kind of connected with him, had him come to Pittsburgh, minister to us. A lot's been going on in his life, and I wanted him to come and share. So we're excited tonight to have with us Pastor Maurice Lochner of Free Ministries. He's a singer, an artist, actor, and the list goes on. So let's bring him on tonight and let him tell you a little bit about himself. Good evening, Pastor. Thank you for being with us here on Let's Talk.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
I am so glad you took time for us, because I know your schedule is busy. And I see you've been working out. I need to come to your gym. I'm watching you doing all those runs and all that stuff, man. You've been working out. I need some help up here in the cold to get a routine going. But just watching you and your wife, I see a lot of things going on. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about Maurice. Tell us what's been happening.
Well, Maurice is husband, father, pastor, grandfather, just a hardworking man. I love the fact that I can go out and work and help provide and be here for my family in every aspect. It just gives me joy to be able to do that. A lot of people probably see me in several of Tyler Perry plays and different things like that. So I'm an artist as well, a national recording artist, and so I kind of family is first for me. When I look at all of those other things, that stuff is something that I've been gifted and anointed to do. But my first love is my wife and my family, and then our ministry, and then everything else kind of falls in line after that. So I've been busy. And when the business got slow, I started working for Amazon. So, you got to keep it going.
Okay. So you're working for Amazon now?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Well,
doing Amazon.
Let's go back a little bit further about television and theater. Tell us some of the things that you've done so far, and what got you into television and theater. What made you want to go that route?
Well, I went to the Fame School. You remember the movie Fame?
Yes.
Well, that was the school I graduated from, music and art high school in New York City. Classically trained. And so a lot of people that we all see and enjoy on television, they went to our school. Jennifer Aniston went to our school. Lawrence Fishburne's wife went to our school. Who else? There's so many. Victor Cook, Tashina Arnold went to music and art. And so, there's so many great artists. So that school pretty much prepares you for your professional career, moving forward. Now, everybody there are levels, like in everything. There are levels where people are very, very talented, and then some people go into the business, and some people go into other fields, because maybe the business may not be for them. But so I went to a Fiorello LaGuardia School of Music and the Performing Arts. So after that, that's when I kind of really started getting my foot in acting and singing and touring and just touring all over the world. So that Tashina Arnold, I don't know if you guys know her, Pam
Yes,
from
yes,
Martin.
yes.
She actually gave me my first opportunity.
Okay.
So, and we always laugh about this because it was a writer's strike with SAG, the union SAG, Screen Actors Guild. And she just happened to be hired on this soap opera called Ryan's Hope.
Yes.
So Ryan's Hope was my first initial gig or job in the business. And I don't know what it was. I guess, because I was a chubby guy or something. they liked the big chubby guy. And so they casted me to be her best friend. So all of the other friends that came on, to be a part of the show, they got maybe 2 or 3 appearances where I got 13. I had a reoccurring role. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this.
Yes, yes.
So that's where I started, from high school and then going into the professional realm. So it's been a journey, though.
Yeah. But I one of the things before you leave tonight, you have to sing me a little line of that song, that Christmas song. You know my song. Before you leave tonight, we're gonna come
Mary,
back to
did
that
you know?
again.
Okay, no problem.
When you sang it here, you've got to sing a little bit of it. But let's talk about this. What about what part of the Tyler Perry show were you in? Give us a little background on that.
Well, I call you Ma too, so I don't know if
That's okay.
if I can do that on this platform.
Oh yeah, you can. Everybody does.
So okay, so all of it was just God, is divine, just moving in my life, man. It was just so crazy how I met him a year prior to me working with him at Maya Angelou's 80th birthday party. A bunch of singers and artists and musicians, we were all hired to be the background singers and for the artists, for the main artists. And he was there. Tyler Perry was there. And I walked up to him and I said, I've been trying to meet you for a while. And so he was, everybody's always doing business. So they're moving and shaking. Everybody's moving. Everything's quick. So he's like, oh man, come on. It's good to meet you. Come on, let's take a picture. And so he took a picture and then cut out. And during that time, the Lord had spoke to my wife and I to move to North Carolina. And I was like, Lord, I'm from New York City. Now, going to North Carolina, I don't have any agents. I don't have any managers, nothing to kind of, submit me to for auditions and things like that. And we went through a little trial, and we went totally on faith, and we packed our stuff and we moved down to North Carolina because the Lord told us to come here. And before I knew it, my car had gotten repossessed. Things had started happening, and because I was traveling back and forth to do gigs in New York City because I still had stuff lined up to finish. And then everything just dried up. So I prayed. I said, God, I have this gift. You've anointed me to do this. I said, I need an opportunity. And who I want to work with, my next opportunity, I want to work with them for more than 5 years. And I left that prayer right there.
Wow.
So in the process of that, car was repossessed. We were just, money was just tight. And so my buddy called me, who worked with Tyler Perry. His name is Tony Grant. He called me and said, yo, Maurice, what you doing, man? What you doing? And I said, man, I need about $5,000. He started laughing at me. And he said, man, I'm not giving you no $5,000. He says, but the words I prayed, he says, but I have an opportunity for you to make some money. I said, okay, keep talking. He says, they're looking for someone to play the father in the Christmas play. And they asked me if I knew anybody. And he says, so I told him just like this. He says, y'all need to call this guy. He not only is he a great singer, but he's a great person.
Wow.
He said, and he told him, he said, y'all need to have him on your team. And so I was like, wow, man. I said, thank you, you know. And then I hung up the phone. 2 minutes later, Tyler Perry Studios called me and they asked me, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like,
tomorrow?
Nothing. You know. And so they said, well, we want you to come down and audition. Can you catch a flight tomorrow in the morning? I was like, sure. So he said, we're going to send you all your information. You fly down tomorrow morning, come and sing and audition, and then we'll fly you back. So I went to the audition. I was the last person to sing. I was the last person to sing in front of Tyler Perry. And it was really funny how the whole thing happened, because I sang the song that was just on my heart. You know, I didn't go in there. You know, you have audition songs.
Right,
but
right.
I just like, forget about the audition song. I just bust out Great Is Thy Faithfulness.
Wow.
And I sung the third verse of it. You know, pardon for sin and the peace that endureth. You know, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide. You know, so I went in. You only have a couple of minutes to really just go in, but I was already there because
yes.
I felt like I was living in the promise, in the prayer that I prayed. I was living in that. And some guy, you know, I never met, he said, man, he said, you look like you can sing. And I told him, I said, brother, I said, you better go in there and do what you got to do. I said, because I'm coming here for a job just like you. So, and I went inside and I sang it. And Tyler Perry's right-hand man, he just sat there, for like 30 seconds and just stared at me. And he was like, I wasn't expecting. He was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Wow.
And so he says, well, can you hang out for a little while? And I was like, I can't go nowhere until y'all take me back to the airport. So yeah. And so he took us upstairs. We sang for Tyler Perry. And actually, the girl Alexis Jones, who I did the duet with, Mary Did You Know, she got hired. I got hired, and the other young lady, I think she sang background or something like that. But that was my first production with Tyler Perry. And the crazy thing was, I told him afterwards, I said, after we did the show and everything, I said to him, I said, listen, I got to tell you something. I got to be honest. I said to myself, I said, if he didn't hire me, he was never going to forget me. So,
I like that. I like that.
And so he said to me, I asked my assistant, Mark, who is this guy and how come I've never heard of him before? And so the rest was history, you know. I mean, it was a great experience working with him. I have a lot of great relationships, and you know, I've gained a lot of brothers and sisters, you know. So I mean, it's really been a good time working in that camp, you know.
And was
so
it
I'm
just
looking forward to some big.
He wasn't doing movies then. That was just when they were going from city to city doing the plays, the musicals.
Yeah, I did five. I've recorded 5 plays.
Okay.
Medea's Christmas, Aunt Bam's Place, Medea Gets a Job, The Have and the Have-Nots, and Medea on the Run. Those are the 5. Only Medea Gets a Job, The Have and the Have-Nots, and Medea on the Run. They were all 3 national tours.
Wow, wow, wow. So learned a lot in that
Yeah.
season, met a lot of new people.
Yeah.
Well, most
Yep.
singers get their start in church. Did you get your start in church? Because well, it's funny you went to a gospel when you met him. You know, most people would try to impress him and go R&B or but you went to church. So was your roots
No,
in
yeah.
church?
You have to stick with in your zone, in your space, because I'm like, I mean, I can sing all of those genres,
Yeah.
but I want to sing to you from my heart, And so I'm like, that was it. I wasn't coming no other way.
Wow. But were you raised in church? Was that your roots? Is that where you were raised?
Yeah, my grandparent. Well, I lived. Let me see. My mom had me very young, so I lived with my grandparents most of my life, and then we moved. My mother and I moved to Brooklyn, and then I eventually moved back to my grandparents' house after a while. But yeah, we they always went to church. They went to that's a story. We went to a church that I left when I was a teenager. It was very weird there. So I was like, I met some
Okay.
friends in high school, and then I went over to the Pentecostal church.
Oh, okay. And that's kind of where you
Yeah,
got your
yeah. I
foundation in
went to
gospel singing.
Yeah. I mean, my grandmother sang, my mother sings, my father sings. So I think I'm the only one who took it to a professional level.
Wow. Well, a year ago, you and your wife started a journey, ministry together.
Yes.
Tell us about that. And I can't wait to get a chance to interview her, meet with her also. But tell us about what got you all into pastoring now with the middle of a pandemic.
Well, actually this is our second time launching a ministry. We started a ministry in Brooklyn called New Beginnings, and this was before the Lord transitioned us here to North Carolina, and it was really something because we had we pretty much had it in our home. We started off and we rented out a space there was a Masonic temple where they would just rent out to churches. And so we were there for a while, and I was like, I think it'd be more intimate if we go home and do this from home. And I went and got some paint, some hardware, and we fixed up the basement. And we had at least 15 to maybe, I want to say 15 to 17 people who are non-churched coming to our house every Sunday at 3 o'clock in
Wow.
the afternoon. And the age range had to be from like I want to say, of course my kids were there. They were younger, teenagers, but then it was my grandfather and my mother-in-law and my grandmother who were the elders there in the 70s and 80s. But from that point, it was 28 up until like maybe my age at that point in the 40s. But they sponged everything. I mean, they just were like boom, and where we were preaching from and teaching from, where we came from in that law type mentality, and just where people were looking at the bylaws of the church more than they looked at the Bible, the gospel, and stuff like that. And it was like where it was like our eyes were open, and so we were just so ready
Wow.
to serve people and to give them the good news, the gospel. And these young adults were just like, wow. They were like, man, we've been to churches before, but it was like we never heard it like this. And so then the Lord told us to move, and we're
Oh,
like, what? Wait a minute, hold on.
so
But
you
the
you all
funny
got a
part
building?
was is that, huh?
Did you get a building when you moved from your house to a building now?
Well, no, we never moved into a building when
Okay,
we were in
okay.
Brooklyn. We never moved into a building. So what happened was when the Lord was transitioning us to move to North Carolina, it was like they slowly stopped coming, and we didn't understand it. We didn't understand it. I mean, we had baptized, a lot of them, and then the next thing I know, people started getting married. They were moving to different places, and we were like, "Why they
What's
stop coming?"
happening?
And then here comes God. I'm moving y'all to North Carolina, and so it made the transition easy
Easier.
with marriages and people moving out of town and this relocating and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, God, you're clever. You're real,
Wow.
real. And so while we were here, we sat for years at a ministry here, a wonderful ministry called Victory Tabernacle Church. Our former pastor, Pastor Perkins, we sat for a while, and it had gotten that time where we were just like, you know what, my wife and I, we just started talking and praying together, and she was like, I think it's that time for us to move forward now. And so we started praying, and it just so happened to land right in the pandemic. But and I shared with her, because a lot of times, the people, and I admire you so much, where a lot of times in the view of society is always the man. People think that it's always the man that should be, the mouthpiece most of the time, or all of the time, or however they view it, and however society has placed it. But we had a talk, and I was like, you know what? I said, we're gonna both pastor this church, and we've been anointed to do certain things. And I said, I know what I do and what God has anointed me to do. And I know what God has anointed you to do. I said, I do not have a problem with you, being that main presenter, is presenting the gospel and preaching,
Wow.
and so we got some slack some real undercover
Oh, I
slack.
can
People was like,
imagine.
and so I said, one guy who I hadn't spoken to in years, he hits me up on a DM. He was like, well, a woman should be silent in the church. And I was like, I said, brother, look at the context of what it is saying and why Paul said what he said. And then I didn't say a word, Ma. He hit me back in 3 minutes apologizing for what he had said. And
Wow.
so I was like,
Wow.
he was like, man, I'm sorry. I should have never said that to you. God bless you and your ministry and everything. And truth be told, I had gotten it from here, there, and a couple of different places, and it started to kind of mess with me. And so I said something to my wife. And the thing is that I love about our relationship and our marriages is that I'm man enough to say that something is bothering me.
Yeah.
Or I feel insecure in this area because people have been calling me saying, we want to hear you, we want to hear you, we want to hear you, and I believe that when we reveal some of the things that we may have insecurities about, what we do is we unplug the enemy's plan, or the thing that he tried to
Yes.
sow
Yes. Yes.
into causing distractions or disruptions. And she says, man, I would never do this if we were not in agreement.
That's it. That's it.
And she was like, I would never do any of this if we were not in agreement. And she was like, and she said, now just really think about how God has been using you in the word of knowledge, and and just pouring and ministering. She was like, I can't do what you do. she's
Right.
like she's like, I
Everybody
can't do
have their
what you do.
strength.
Right. She's like, I can't do what you do. And she was like, but and I told her, I said, as long as we do this together and we do this being led by the Holy Spirit, I said, that is the success of the ministry, to where we have no insecurities and all of these hidden things, And so that's where free ministries like really started, because we love to serve people. I mean, you've been around me a little bit. I love people. I just
Yeah.
been, I just love just being around people and being a blessing.
Tell us about your wife. How long have you all been married, and children and your grandchildren too? Tell us a little bit about your family.
We are going on 26 years. We celebrated our 25th year last year, April. Well, no, this year, April. I feel like these days are going by so fast.
Yes.
But we celebrated 25 years. We have 3 kids and a granddaughter. My oldest son is Todd. Funny story about him. When the Lord spoke to us about to move to North Carolina, my wife went to him. He had just graduated high school, and she says, the Lord has spoken to us, and God is telling us to move to North Carolina. She was like, you're more than welcome to come with us. You're old enough to be on your own now if you want, but you can come with us if you like. He said, God told y'all to move, not me. I was like,
that sounds like a teenager for you.
So he's in Brooklyn now. My middle boy, Maurice, Isaiah, he's here with us. He's 26. Todd is the oldest. He's 29. Maurice is 26. And my daughter, Faith, is 25. And my granddaughter is 5.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
And so, yeah.
The Lord's done it.
So,
So
yeah, we're
are you
looking
all
forward to
in a
marriage.
building? Are you all in a building or still pastoring from home?
We're virtual every Sunday at 10 a.m., but we do rent out a space twice a month at a community center nearby here, like maybe 5 minutes away.
What part of Carolinas are you in? What part of North Carolina are you in?
We live in Knightdale, North Carolina, but it's like Knightdale is adjacent, right next to Raleigh. So
okay.
it's really Raleigh, but it's like a town next to it where we live.
Well, how is pastoring with your wife? How do you all manage? How that with all that the feedback that you got and what people said? How are you all managing to pastor together now?
We really focused on just preaching the gospel, the grace, and we really are looking at reaching people, showing them Jesus, the love of Christ, and we're not really like, some people, I've heard a lot of young pastors, they look over here and they look over here, to see what this person is doing and how can we do this and how can we do that. We really want to just, lock arms with people and of course learn and get wisdom, but we're really focused on just sharing the good news. We hear enough bad news.
Yeah.
There's so much bad news. So we're focused on hearing the good news, and just, preaching Jesus, and his love and his grace for us. And, and so it's just like, we're so focused. We sit down, we get up on a couple Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 a.m. and we pray specifically for the ministry, and how, and just asking God to lead us in what direction we should go. How should we reach people, and how can we expand the ministry? So we're really just keeping our ear to God's mouth, and just really just wanting to hear what he has to say and give us direction on which ways to go. So it's wonderful. And this is like so funny, because I tell my wife all the time, I say, I am your biggest promoter.
Wow.
I said, I am your biggest promoter. I can't wait until you guys can link together and lock up. Because I say to people, I said, she's like a hidden jewel.
Yeah. I want to get your email. I want to send something to both of you that I want you all to connect with. Getting ready to start a fellowship with pastors around the country and around the world. And the Lord gave it to me during the pandemic. It's called the cluster. When the Bible talks about in the new wine, there's a cluster, and God, he says, bringing a new people together that's going to develop a whole new level of anointing in this season. And what I find, a lot of pastors need fellowship. They need to be able to have someone to pray with them, talk about the word too, because this call can get lonely. It can get hard, and just have
Yeah.
somebody to run things by is so critical. So I'm going to send you that information so you have it. Just that we're right here. We're just a phone call away. Sometimes you're going through something and you want someone just to pray for you, and that is so
Yeah.
important. Do you think you're going to go back to the theater, to the movies, to plays? Where do you see yourself going?
Yeah, I haven't given any of that up. Actually, I'm doing a play here, December 18th, here in Raleigh, the Raleigh area, and I'm in rehearsals. I just actually started rehearsals last night,
Okay.
in-person rehearsals, and I'm also working on a two-man show. So what I did was I linked up with another one of my brothers who also performed in Tyler Perry plays,
Okay.
and we're getting together to write a two-man show.
Is that
And
singing? Would that be singing you all are going to
singing
do?
and acting.
Okay.
It's singing and acting.
Okay. And how would you take it
So
around to clubs? How would you do that?
so what happens is what we the first thing to do is to write it. So once you write it, then you put the whole thing together. Then what you do is you shop it to promoters or producers
Oh, I see.
who can actually set up what you have and set it up as a tour to go
Okay.
around the nation. But we're looking to do, because there's so many, we're looking to reach everybody. Because we have that kind of talent where we can reach everybody, just not one community of people. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Right, right, yeah. You
music,
can cross all those
music and
barriers.
art. Yeah, yeah, music and art. It reaches barriers beyond color, beyond
Absolutely.
ethnicity, all of that. It reaches it all. I mean, I performed in Germany, and these people hardly knew what we were saying, but the spirit of what we were doing gets
Absolutely.
once they hear something they're familiar with, they're excited.
Yeah, they just get to have the beat, the
They are
sound, they're getting
excited.
it. Yeah. Wow. So do
Yeah,
you
and
want to do
don't
some
you
more
sing "Oh
tours?
Happy Day"? Yeah, absolutely. I think about that every day when I'm out delivering packages at Amazon.
You want to go sing. You want to get back on that platform. It's an amazing journey. Tell me one
Absolutely.
more thing. What do you do to replenish yourself? Like while you're waiting for these gigs, while you're waiting for these doors to open, you're such an artist. When you were here with us, I so enjoyed your singing. I want you back. I know you have to come back to Pittsburgh. You do have to come back and sing. But what do you do while you wait for the door to open?
Well, what I do is you keep creating. You want to be like, this is something that some of my friends said. We want to be like that knife that's in the drawer that you get ready to cut your steak with. You want to be sharp. Who wants a knife that can do the job when you pull it out? So when you're ready to come out, you want to be ready. You want to be sharp. So what I do now, I kind of built a small studio in my home. I had one of my neighbors who's a carpenter build me a vocal booth, and I'm presently working on something to honor my grandfather who passed away last year around this time. There's a song that he loved by Duke Ellington called "Come Sunday," and
Oh,
Mahalia
I heard
Jackson
that.
performed it, and yeah. And so he said, man, you can sing this song, man. He was like,
Oh,
and before he died, he gave me the money. He says, here's the money to go in. What is it going to cost for you to go in the studio and
oh,
record this song? And I have a video of him talking in his room one day. He said, I heard Mahalia Jackson sing the song. He says, I heard Gladys Knight sing the song. I heard Jennifer Holliday sing the song. He says, but my grandson, he kicked it in the butt.
well, when you're ready to do it, I want to hear it too. I want to hear what you're going to do with that
Oh,
song.
oh yeah. So yeah. So that
Definitely.
you just keep creating. That's what I do in the midst of it. I keep creating, I keep believing, and I keep reminding myself that I'm living in the promise of God. And so the process is what it is, but I'm going somewhere in the midst of the process. I'm not losing faith. I'm not fainting in the midst of the process. I'm still moving forward. I'm still moving, because at any day, as we know, God can just bless us just like
Just
that.
one
And
door.
and that happened with me with Tyler Perry. It was just
Did
a
he,
phone call.
do you think you'll go back? Do you
It was a
think you
phone
would
call.
reach out to him to do anything with him in the future?
Tyler Perry?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know because
he's expanding in so many areas. I don't know if you want to go into the movie part. He seems to be going towards more movies now.
yeah. I mean, my thing is with that, it's he I once I auditioned one time, I never had to audition again. So he knows what I'm capable of doing. He walked
Okay.
past me one day randomly and says, "I see you've done television." I was like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Oh, you checking up on me?" So they know. I mean, they know what you do. I had one of my good friends from high school. She has no filter. She was like, "How come my brother?" She did all the neck things. She's like, "How come my brother hasn't been on one of those movies yet, or on one of them TV shows?" And so they was
We
like,
got
"What are
to
you
get you
talking
on
about?"
Hallmark to sing all them Christmas songs.
Exactly.
I need to see you on Hallmark. Where do we need to write for you to come on Hallmark and sing? Because some of the singers they have up there, they need to get you over there. We need to send something to them. I'd love to see you on
Yeah.
Hallmark. I really, really would. I'm going to pray that God opens the door for Hallmark, because I noticed they're bringing a lot more singers and they're bringing more people to Hallmark too, and that's another door for you. But I'm believing the Lord for that. But what's up for the next 5 years? Where are we going from here? Where do you want to go?
I definitely want to do television. That is a passion for me. Television. Once I got a taste of the Cosby Show, and being where you had that the microphone is sitting right above your head. Once I got a taste of that, I was like, "Oh yeah, I love television." I mean, I like the stage too, but television
You love
is
it.
good, and yeah, I love television, and we're working on some stuff. Me and some of the guys who's worked with Tyler Perry, we're actually kind of stirring the pot and seeing what we're coming up with, because I believe in, especially in this day and time, we need to see some real men, some real fathers, some real husbands, on visually. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Visually
That's why
seeing
you're
some
on
really strong
tonight.
black men. Yeah, because I mean we're seeing so many everything else, and it's okay and it's acceptable. But the minute that you come there and you're saying, okay, this is our story. This is what we want to say. You know what I mean? And so I know there may be some, you gotta it's a little fight here and there, but we leave that up to God. Let him do the work with that. We're gonna rest in him. We're gonna write. We're gonna do what we do as performers, and produce and get the right machine working, and then we're gonna tell our story. And that's what the two-man show is gonna be about. David and I are both husbands, fathers. We've both been in the business. We've both been hurt in the business. We've both been used in the business. But when we tell the story and add songs and add life to it and put life stories and testimonies to it, we can sing that song that the Williams brothers sing, "Heartaches. I had my share of heartaches, but I'm still here."
Still
You
here.
know, and that's a message that we can give to these brothers, our brothers and our men, iron sharpening iron, by telling these brothers, listen, you've had heartaches, you've had ups and downs, but hang in there, because whatever God has spoken over my life and any other brother, it's gonna happen. It's gonna come to pass. He can't lie to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yes,
like,
yes.
just hang in there. You
Wow.
know. So I'm working on some stuff, Mom. It's in 2022.
Well,
We'll be
keep
in
me in the
Pittsburgh.
loop because I want to show up where you are, and I want you coming to Pittsburgh. I definitely want you back at Jubilee to sing. I wish you could be here for the holidays to sing for me. Well, we're going to talk about that, so we can get you here for a
Yeah.
certain weekend to come and sing during the holidays. But listen, we've got to go. But I want to hear what songs you have to share with us. You got to share something with me tonight. You know, I wouldn't let you come on and not sing. You got to give me something.
You don't. Do I have to sing, Mary? Do you know, or do you just want
No,
to hear
sing
it?
whatever's on your heart. You just have to sing. That's all I care about.
Okay. Well, I want to sing this because I believe that this song, I love this, and I'll end with this. How can I say thanks for all the things you've done for me? Things so undeserved, yet you prove your love for me. The voices of a million angels cannot express my gratitude. All that I am and forever hope to be, I owe it all to you. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things that he has done. Just let me live my life. Let it be pleasing, Lord, to thee. And if there be any praise, let it go to Calvary. With his blood, he has saved me. And with his power, he has raised me. To God be the glory for the things, for everything he has done.
Oh my.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to call you this week because I've got to get you here in December. You're going to have to come sing. You have to come visit your mother. You have to come up and see us before this year end. That just ministers to me. Listen, I'm going to be praying. When we were just talking, I just said to the Lord, it's time for you to be on Netflix, Hallmark, Lifetime, and I'm going to put that in my prayer box because I want to see you go to higher heights. Christians can be in all
Amen.
of those venues and still love God. So, son, I love you. Thank you for
Amen.
being with us tonight. And you've got a prayer
Thank
warrior
you.
on your case for you. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you so much.
Love you. Take care now.
Love you too, Ma. See you soon.
All right, honey. Bye-bye. Well, ooh, that one got me. That one got me a little bit. If he sang a little bit longer, I'd been in trouble on here. Would not be able to close this out because to God be the glory. That's one of my sons in ministry. Love him dearly. Such a man of God, and looking forward to seeing him and his wife soon and having him here back here. He was here with us in Pittsburgh a few years ago and did an awesome job. Have a wonderful Christmas song that he sings that I love. And so I'm looking forward to him But listen, there are good men. There are men that are trying their best to live right for God and raise their families. Tremendous father, husband, grandfather. And I thank God. It's good to hear him say, while he's waiting, he's running around with Amazon doing what he needs to do. He's going to make sure his family's taken care of. Not too proud to say that. You know, I can do this. I'm going to do. But my prayer as a spiritual mom is that he will go through the doors now. As we go into 2022, every door he needs open will be open for him. I am so glad to be a part of his life. And I listen, encourage the men that are around you. Remind them how good they are. Don't just talk about the negative, but bring up the positive. Pray for them more than you just talk to them or talk about them. Pray for them. And let us see God turn things around in our families. God bless you. Thank you for joining me on Let's Talk. Listen, Prophet Remington Roll, Prophet Andre will be coming up in the next couple of weeks as he talks about his journey to Pittsburgh and and Prophet Andre, his life back after the major problems attacked his body, but how God is using him mightily now and in the future. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Let's Talk. And remember, we do have good men.